Welcome back to the conversation, back to the Painted City. This is Paula.
And this is Patricia. If you're connected in the art scene in any way, you're bound to have heard of our next guest, Brad Biggs.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to talk to us today, Brad.
You're welcome.
Now, I know that you two have been together, known each other for a very long time. I met Brad a few years ago at Favo when you actually were kind enough to have a creative fellowship show, and I was luckily one of the artists that got to come in. So
We have a fellowship exhibition every year.
yeah, and I've got to be in your show, I think, 3 times, and I thank you so much. I mean, when we talk about new and upcoming artists, giving a chance for Crealdi and shows and exposures, it's very supportive and comforting, but also you talking to some of us new artists. Like I know you talking to me about different ways to talk to people, to sell. I mean, it was a great bit of mentorship and knowledge for a new artist coming on the scene and coming up. So
It probably was too much at once.
well, it's okay. I can take a lot of information. I'm used to working crisis units, so we're good.
Yeah.
But you and Patricia have known each other for a while. How did you two come into the same?
Well, years ago when I moved here to Orlando, I had some degree of working in the business, but not as much as now. I met Patricia about 24 years ago. And after, how should I put this? Basically, my divorce. I had my divorce and I could have gone back to Texas and I stayed. And from there on, I decided I was going to do things differently. And and I'd already met her before, but I didn't really know her per se. Then one night at what used to be referred to as the Office Gallery, it was over there on, what was that?
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson. It was basically a big old office building that they were just calling a gallery that had been rented out. And they had a couple of different, basically, I guess what would be office rooms being used as studios. And Patricia and Marcia Dabrowski both had one, and we had a conversation. And I thought, well, I'm going to take a chance. Let's see. And so I asked her if she wanted to do some of the things that I had coming up, and she said yes.
I always say yes.
Sometimes you have to have some audacity and take a risk,
Well, I mean, that's good advice with the art world. I mean, I'm still somewhat new to it, but sometimes you have to take risk or do things that might be a little out of your comfort zone.
I've done a lot of that.
And I think we met later after that at the Grand Bohemian, the
Yes.
former Grand Bohemian Gallery.
Yes. Yep, that sounds about right.
I can't believe it's 24 years ago. We were just puppies then, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I have to say, Brad, you have come such a long way from the moment that we met until now. All the things that you've done, and like, I'm trying to think, like, how should we really dive into this? Should we go to your early beginnings in Texas? Tell us a little bit about your time in Texas.
Well, I'll just say that I don't even remember what year I came here, to be honest with you. I really don't remember. I spent a lot of time in Fort Worth and a lot of time in other parts of Texas as well. But I like Florida, so.
I was going to say, there must have been something that kept you here and not go back. And I think that's your thriving arts career, business. Let's talk a little bit about.
Well, I've sort of built from the ground up a combination of an art association and art representation company. It's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Because unlike most businesses, you cannot mix personal relationships with the business or everything goes south. In the art business, you have to do that or everything goes south. But even then, even though you have to combine the two, you have to have, in my opinion, a certain ethical point. I don't do this, or I don't do this, or I don't go past this point. Oops. Right. So you have to be able to figure out what you should do and what you shouldn't do. takes a lot of self-discipline, actually.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I know, luckily through this podcast, I've got to meet a lot of great people and talk about the art scenes and growing up in Orlando, but about the actual business, because that's something that was very new to me. Not business or going to art shows, but art as a business. Patricia and I talk a lot about, people keep having this misnomer about starving artists, but a lot of artists like Patricia and other people, they are working artists. It is their life and career.
Well, I mean, Patricia is an established artist, but it took her years to get there. I mean, just like anyone that's an established artist has to work to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But the term starving artist is unfortunately mired in some facts. There are a whole lot of artists that are starving, unfortunately. There are some that don't have an extra income or a spouse or anything like that. And so it can be a tricky situation. And so that's sort of where the stereotype comes from. The other part of the stereotype comes from the fact that so many times artists do not demand to get paid when they should.
That's so true.
That's one of my big old pet peeves. It's like, this is work. This isn't, it may be the way you live and it may be absolutely necessary for your own mental health, but it's also work. It's sort of like, you don't ask the guy that comes and fixes your air conditioning if he's just going to do it for exposure and free, do you?
You make a good point there, Brad. You really do. And as the founder of Art for All Spaces, you've been so helpful. That seems not even enough recognition for you. You've been so prolific in helping launch the careers of so many artists here in Orlando. And as I was taking notes and just pondering over things to talk about today, I was thinking, like, Brad wears so many hats. Literally, he has a baseball cap. He's got a baseball cap on now. It's Texas, right? Yeah.
What's it say?
Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess with
There you
Texas. I love it. So you're known as art promoter, curator, geologist. Really, it's like when someone asks about you, and I don't think if you, like I said, if you were involved in the arts in Orlando, whether you're a gallerist, a museum, a new artist, or an established artist, or everything and anything in between, someone has met you. You were so loved and so respected here in Orlando, in Central Florida, that I just have to say thank you. We really appreciate all that you've done for the arts. Tell us a little bit about what you do with your.
You have to wear a whole lot of hats to do it well. Mm-hmm. And for those hats you cannot wear, you have to be aware of your own liabilities, and, for lack of a better way of putting it, be willing to trust somebody else to take care of that job. I refer to it as excellent delegating, and that's one of the things I'm pretty dang good at, actually.
You are.
I'm pretty good at finding the right person for the right job.
It's your superpower. It really is.
Well,
One
maybe,
of them.
maybe. The other things is everything costs money in our world, everything.
Yeah.
And so I self-taught myself how to fundraise. Other than the bigger organizations and one specific artist, I can't think of anyone else that knows how to do that here in town.
No, it's not something that we're taught when we are artists. Like, I know how to fundraise in my world as a social worker. So if there was something in that role that you said, hey, Paula, let's do a fundraiser for this, I'd be like, oh, I know a lot, let's go. If you're like, hey, Paula, how would you fund your own show? And I'd be like,
ask Brad.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, do you have a minute?
Well, and the first thing I'm going to tell you is to make a list of 10 people that are well-to-do that you think might be inclined to help you with money. But the more important thing is do you have the nerve to go and ask them? Because a lot of people equate asking money with low moral character. And they cannot get past this situation. This is one of the places where I suppose my autism helps me, because I don't care. It's like, you want to think I have a low morality? Whatever. I don't care.
I love that saying, and I've heard it tossed around a couple of times, and it's do things scared. Yeah. It really puts some fire under you, and it you've taught me that, and I'm like,
You've
I
got
can do this. I got this.
you've got to step out of comfort zones.
You do.
If you don't step out of comfort zones, you don't grow.
Yeah, there's a good quote that says there's no comfort in a growth zone and no growth in a comfort zone.
I love that.
So, I mean, for my group exhibitions, I have been challenging artists to do things that they would normally not want to mess with.
Yes, because many of your exhibits are theme based. And as an abstract artist, I mean, if I were a traditional artist, painter, sculptor, I think it would be a little bit easier. I don't want to say easier because creating anything under that timeline and under that premise, like it must be this theme. But for an abstract artist, I mean, it's like homework with you, but I love it. I've grown.
well, I've always wanted all of my exhibitions to be good enough to go into a museum or a college art gallery.
And you've done that.
You know, there are a lot of shows here in town, and I differentiate between shows and exhibitions.
You've taught me that.
I mean, shows, when people hear show, and no knock to other artists that do this, okay? But when people say show, they think effectively of a bar with a loud band and an artist in there with their artwork on the wall, and probably pretty drunk because they have some social skill problems, you know, and nobody can really appreciate the artwork at all. And people shut down when they hear the word show. They hear the word exhibition and they park up like, what is this? So in my book, exhibitions are special and shows are common.
Oh, that's a good differentiation. I never thought about it that way.
Because I think that the language of the art scene and the art business is just as important as the business and the scene itself. The way we describe what we're doing or what we want to do is just as important. You, as a counselor, should probably understand that pretty well. If you're talking, in the past, if you had a patient, you've got to be able to talk to them on a level that they understand.
Yeah, language matters. Words matter. Terminology matters. Because you can walk in and say something and just lose that connectivity that you're trying to help somebody. If you, one, make assumptions about people. Two, if you say, it really matters how you listen. Are you a listener? Are you talking? One of the things I learned early on is when you walk into a session, are you there waiting to talk? Because if you're there waiting for you to talk, then you're doing something wrong. You're there to listen.
Unfortunately, I am the emperor of the social faux pas. But since we're talking about it, I'll tell you what part of my prerequisites on putting an exhibition together are. Number one, do I believe 75% of my artists can do it? And for the ones that might be tricky, I've already thought ahead of time. Like, for example, with an abstract artist, how could an abstract artist do this? And so when I'm already having that conversation, I may call Patricia up or the other abstract artists and say, this is what I have in mind, and this is how I think how you could do it. Are you game? You know? So that's one of my first prerequisites. Number two, I don't want to do things in 2-3 month range. I want to plan them six months to a year ahead. That way I can do them in a strategic fashion. I can do the publicity, and in case you don't know, I'm pretty dang good at publicity. Another one of those hats I have to wear.
Right.
Well, Brad, I actually kind of like the idea of doing something 6 months out. I mean, for me, I don't wear as many hats in the art world, but I do wear many hats in my personal life. You know, having 6 months out to prepare for an exhibit is actually helpful, so I can make sure that I set up. And I don't know about Patricia, but you know, for me, it gives me time to plan to make sure the works, which I learned early on, gallery wrapped, ready hung. There's no little claw hooks. Because the first time I came to drop something off, Patricia's like, you need to wire hang this. And I'm like, all I could think of was that movie, No More Wire Hangers Ever.
Oh,
yeah.
Mommy Dearest?
Mommy Dearest. And I'm like,
my.
what do you mean I need to wire hang? What's a gallery wrap? And I'm like, I feel so unprepared.
Did I end up wiring it for you? Maybe
You wired it for me. You showed me
You're
how to
special,
wire it.
because I wouldn't have done that for everyone.
Well, no,
I'm
you
kidding.
only did the first one. You're like,
first
I will show you real
I showed her
quick.
how to
You
do
have
it.
4 more or 3 more to do. And I'm like, okay.
And you did it, and you are doing it.
You know, there are some curator and gallerist in town that if you show up and things are not wired, they will charge you money per piece for wiring it. Because it's so rampant, unfortunately. We're dealing with artists, even though we tell them 15 million times, please wire it, have it ready, and they show up and it's not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that I learned those lessons like early on. So now I know if I'm in an exhibition, I walk in, all of my paintings are gallery wrapped or framed. All of them are wire hung. I learned a few things. I'm very fortunately, and it just kind of stuck in my head because, I was like, I didn't know what a gallery wrap was. But now that it's in my head, I walk into places and I kind of look at art and I'm like, okay, let me look. Let me see what other people have done so that I know that when I show up with my one piece or my three pieces that I'm ready.
That's the beauty of art. And Brad said that, you could be in this business, 20 years or 10 or 5. We're always learning. There's, it's an evolution. And yeah, you just have to be open to
Feedback.
For feedback. Yeah. Without being, dismayed by, oh, this isn't acceptable.
Well, that's unfortunate. There's a lot of people in our society that cannot take constructive criticism, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
They take any amount of criticism, constructive as otherwise, as a personal attack. And the reality is while there are some people that aren't so nice, in my case, I just simply want things to work better.
Well, and I mean, that was something I've had to learn. And I've had my moments of kind of humility coming into the art and the wire hangers, gallery wraps, making sure that things are shown appropriately and not half done, varnishing, and just some other random feedback from people who've been in the field. And I mean, I can tell you for me, it was learning, because if someone's made a career in life and is an established artist and they're like, hey, have you thought about this? Or maybe you could do this better. It's time for me to listen. I can ignore whatever information they want, but it's time for me to listen. So if I'm breaking a rule, then I know I'm breaking it and it's not a faux pas.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Anyway, I guess the only way is when I give myself all that time, I'm able to strategize everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to cherry pick. I mean, the artists that are my artists that I represent are not just picked because they have excellent artwork. They're picked on the basis of character as well. I mean, I don't drive a car. I'm an autism case. I have to have people that are going to meet me halfway. That's just the reality of this. And so I have to have people that have good character, meet me halfway, and give it a try. And understand, I mean, the rules I have are not unreasonable. I mean, one rule I have, as an example, is I may tell you about this a year ahead, but if you may say, oh, I want to be in it. But when it's time for the press release, if I put your name in the press release and then you pull out, that's like a kiss of death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because I mean, when we talk about
and that's done 3 months. That's done 3 months before the exhibition.
Yeah, if you commit to show up, you got to show up.
And if I put your name out to the media, what happens if the media comes out because somebody happens to be a fan of yours, and then you're not in it?
And that's happened to you.
And that has happened to me multiple times. It's a very embarrassing situation, frankly.
Right. And you don't have to give a hard number, but approximately how many artists do you represent? You don't have to count them all.
I would have to count them. At the current time, I think it's like 16 or 17, but I'd have to double check.
Wow.
And then
awesome.
Depending on the exhibition that you have, then you bring in guest artists.
Right.
Which leads me to our next question, because you've had so many notable exhibitions throughout the years. And I know you've had the Science Center. A lot of people may not know that you also show exhibitions in the Science Center, museums, private collections.
Yeah.
Residential.
All of the above.
Yeah, residential and commercial, all of the above.
I have done house staging. I have done exhibitions in college art galleries. I have done more than a few in the Orlando Science Center, which is pretty much the equivalent of our Science and History Museum here.
Which I was very glad that I got to see one of the ones that you did last year, and the artwork was beautiful. You were in it. Ken was in it.
Was it Mineral Wealth?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I absolutely loved it, and I don't know if I'm jumping guns, or topics, but you know, the rocks, because the first time I met you, you gave me this really beautiful rock, and you do all of these digs, and to go into that one.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that one is a lot of people are telling me that they think that was the best exhibition I've ever done, and they may be right. What I find interesting about it, beyond the fact that I'm very proud of it, is I was even able to convince a quartz crystal mine owner to lend me a big old quartz crystal for the exhibition. A guy that owns a mine, Pine Ridge Crystals, out in Arkansas.
That was huge, wasn't it? Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's selling that mine now.
Is he?
Yeah, for 1.5 million, I think.
Yeah, that was a gorgeous exhibition, and people are still talking about it.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
So when I have my big exhibitions, it's always my own people first, and then if there's room, I'll bring in some guest artists. But it's always a cherry pick. It's a lot of people have complained that why wasn't there a call for artists? Well, I don't want to do a call for artists.
You have to be a little bit selective, and like you said, and I really appreciate that about you, because there are so many fine artists all over here, Florida, all over the world, let's just say, right? But I admire how you look at one's personality and demeanor. I think that's really important. I mean, you want to work with someone that's compatible and that's going to be, you know, pleasant to work with. And I just admire that about you. And some people might say, well, I don't know, my art's better than hers or his.
And guess what? The moment they say that, I'm not listening to them.
So you have heard that feedback before?
Oh, I've heard it more times than you think. I have had. Sometimes I think people's egos have really just gotten out of hand. And to me, at least, it's a red flag when one comes up and says, "Why did you put so and so in that? Mine is so much better."
Oh wow!
And I immediately think it's like, okay, that took some audacity to even say this to me. I have to give them that credit, but it's like, nope, I don't need an egomaniac.
I think as artists, I think we should be, how can I say it? I think we should be really nurturing to one another. Like I try to be that person that, hey, Brad, I can't do it. How many times have I said this to you? Maybe even recently. Hey, I can't do this exhibit, or you're looking for an artist, and I will say, hey, how about, you know, artist A or artist B? And I feel like we have to take that ego out of the creative, I don't want to say artist, because we all have ego, and that's okay. I mean, it's a part of survival. It's nature.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've had some of the art that I've done where people will say, look at that and say, okay, I can tell that's a Paula, but you can actually see a little bit of Patricia's influence. Oh. And I'm like, I'll take that as a huge compliment.
That is a compliment.
So you see a little bit of Patricia's work in me, because you and I, although we're both abstract, I think a lot of our stylistic pursuits aren't similar.
Thank you.
Well, if you really want an answer, Patricia's is very emotive, and so is yours. That's why there's similarity.
Oh,
emotive.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Because Patricia, yours is all. That's how I describe you, my dear. I describe you as a very emotive, abstract artist.
Thank you.
That's
I don't
what
think I've heard that yet.
That's what I tell other people about you when I'm trying to sell your work, my dear, or sell the idea of putting you somewhere.
Well, I appreciate that.
No, that means a lot. I know and I've said it before on one of the earlier episodes. The series I'm working on is like things we don't talk about. It's mental health, and you know, I feel emotive. Like I'm trying to leave things on the page that show when mental health matters.
But let me also give you another tip. Do you remember when Monty Owlinger bought your piece?
Yes.
I was there. That was exciting.
Monty Owlinger's abstracts are emotive.
Yes.
As the sound guy over here has said, like recognizes like.
Oh, that means a lot. And I remember that he had a gigantic bee, and I love bees. I'm wearing a bee shirt. A bee, and I just like it brought tears to my eyes how beautiful that bee painting he had was. And I was in his studio when he was in your studio. By
Not surprised at all.
I
Not
love
surprised.
those serendipitous moments. It
Any-
happens a lot.
Anyway, I guess the other thing is I do have some exhibitions upcoming.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that. Tell us.
Well, the first one I suppose is in September. It's at City Arts Factory. It's called 60/69 Celebration of the 60s. It is my people. Then it's a whole mess of guest artists, about 30 artists plus. I pulled from artists from many different genres. Not all of them are fine artists. Some of them are. But some of them are urban artists. Some of them are. I have one artist that does work like Basquiat, and she'll totally freak when she hears me saying this about her.
Oh. What's her name? Can you mention her name?
Genevieve DeMarco.
Okay.
nice.
Genevieve DeMarco is a great artist. She's better than she thinks she is.
I can't wait.
But I mean, there's a lot of names, but I'm just going to mention 2-3 others if that's okay.
Please
Yeah.
do. Mention.
There's a The Wise Knight. That's what he calls himself. That's his artist name. I do know his real name, but I'm not going to go there because I don't think he likes it being known out. He's a portraiture artist, and when I met him years ago, he was okay, but he has improved by leaps and bounds over the years, and I mean he has improved by leaps and bounds. And he's putting some great work of some musicians from the 60s as an example. Like I said, we have fine artists, we have urban artists, we have what I would refer to as political artists, we have non-political artists, we have sculptors, and we have things that are just outright fun.
That's amazing. And I believe Marcia's also in that show, correct?
Yes, Marcia
I don't
Dabrowski.
do shows.
Exhibition. Thank you. Language matters, people.
Language matters. Yes, Marcia Dabrowski. She'll be in that exhibit, and she is an upcoming guest too on the podcast. And did you want to mention the costume? the
Yes.
costume contest?
Yes, there's a costume contest as part of 60/69. Here's the deal. Come out and dress in your best 60s fashion. Whatever the heck you think it is. Okay? The person that comes out against this, I have 3 judges. I have Genevieve Bernard, I have Honey Hogan, and I have Gareth Edwards as judges.
Excellent.
Whoever they pick, the first place gets some tickets to the Enzian, one of our sponsors.
Oh,
The second place is going to get a big old quartz crystal formation.
Wow.
The third one's going to get a gift card from one of the local restaurants. You know, we're going to have that, but it's not just that. We're also going to have somebody in there giving out some desserts that were popular in the 60s, small little things there.
Jello, maybe? No. Pudding.
it was jelly popular in this
It's probably going to be puddings. It might be some pineapple upside down. I'm not positive yet.
How
But
fun.
But we're going to have that. We're also going to have a selfie station, for that matter, where people can go there and take their selfies. And we'll have the filmmaker Marvin there, you know. And if you want to talk a little bit and get fun in your little get up, by all means.
It's so safe to say that your exhibitions are exhibit / sometimes a little bit of a party and unexpected fun. Yeah.
Well, it's really tricky sometimes to get people to come out to exhibitions that are not artists. You have to have what I refer to as added value hooks, things that people might want to do, things that they might consider fun. You know, because artists will go to another art exhibition because of the art. Non-artists may go because of the art, but they may go because they can win something. They may go because they want to be seen. They may go because they want to take selfies with their friends. I mean, the reasons are as numerous as the cosmos, you know. So I mean, we're going to have that as well. So it's a pretty big exhibition.
So that's in September.
September 18th.
Okay.
And for our listeners, we're going to have the flyers actually up on our Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I have another one. Then I guess the next one is for the Obsidian Gallery at Favo, upstairs here, 244. We have Seventh Dimension with the artwork of Vera Gubanitska.
Yay, shout out to Vera from
Oh.
Crealde.
Yay.
That's right. I mean, and that's the most immediate. There will be one coming in November called Likeness and Legacy. And that's going to be at a Perfect Union Art Gallery ran by Gareth Edwards. And it's basically it has Kathy Hempel, Joyce Hayes, Marcia Dabrowski, and Vera Gubanitska. And it's about women, and it's about women that are sometimes ignored, sometimes not even seen in our society. It's not about the big names that everybody knows. It's about the silent heroes, the silent heroes that are women in our society.
And I have to say, Gareth Edwards, the gallerist of A Perfect Union Gallery, he's such an amazing person. Guys that are listening out there, and girls, I said guys, you should really go out there and see it if you've not been out to that gallery. It's located in Ocoee.
West Oaks Mall.
At the West Oaks Mall. I know it sounds like a unique place for an art gallery, but it's quite nice, and he has so many happenings going on over there. And he's just a lovely person if you haven't met Gareth yet.
There are some really interesting places with the arts in town. Some are more known than others. His, I would like to see it be known more, to be honest with you. But his is certainly not the only one. There's Three Mask out on Central, for example. There is the Park Avenue Gallery in Sanford, and ran by Cassandra Williams. That's right, Cassandra Williams runs that one. I mean, these are just ones that nobody hears about or knows about because they aren't necessarily loud.
Well,
It
now
doesn't make them any less relevant.
Well, now now they've been broadcasted. So
Yeah, and I mean, and I think most people know about Mills Gallery.
yes,
With
Boris.
with Boris over there in City
great.
Arts and what have you. But yeah, there's quite a bit in this town if you look around and pay attention. And that's not counting the first Friday, first Saturday at Favo.
Yeah, so tell me more about that, because I know that we're currently in Patricia's studio.
Well, I think it was the Davis Hotel or something like that. Many years ago in that Presbyterian church over here, the Park Lake, they bought the whole property and got rid of the riffraff. And instead of tearing everything down and making it a new youth center, they decided to renovate it and make it an art studios. And the rest is history. I don't know if it's 12 years or more. I'm pretty sure it's at least 12 years.
At least. I'm so glad to be here. I've only been here, I think this might be going on my 3rd year. Thanks to Rana. Shout out to my studio mate Rana for inviting me to be here.
I am very thankful so that you remembered and brought me an amethyst today.
Yes, thank you.
And I love your rock work, and I know you do digs and things. So I wanted to hear more about that, because that's something like.
Well, I love geology, and I am a rock hound, and Linda is too. And so, I mean, we go to Arkansas every year, and I go to multiple quartz crystal mines. And yes, I've also been to the diamond mine, which is a tourist trap, which I think you went to, my friend. But not counting that, but every 3-4 months or so, Linda and I go somewhere else. After the exhibition in September, we're going out to California. And we're going to see the redwoods, and then we're also going to dig at a fire agate mine in Oregon.
Oh.
Wow. We can't wait to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the fire agates.
I mean, there's that, and then after that, it's I haven't decided if we're going to go back to Georgia and try the amethyst mine there again, or go back to Texas and dig out some more fossils. I'm undecided.
Now back to Favo for a second, because that kind of ties into the crystals. Will you be having your special showings?
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Well, 10 months of the year, the front area of the Obsidian Gallery, which is my studio there, okay, is a fine art gallery. 2 months of the year, it's what I refer to as the rock shop of me and Linda, because all the extra things that we dug out, we pull out and we put on tables and put it for people to get. And it is, I think, November, December. this year. Oh, sorry. I think November, December.
All right, so for all of you crystal lovers and geode lovers, stop by and pick up your pre-holiday gifts.
Right, and now keep in mind that when I have the fine artist, there's still crystals there. They're just not in the whole place. In the very back, you can still walk to the back and go through crystals and palm them, and if you want them. The thing is, my prices are better than rock shops for the most part.
No, I mean, and that's great to know. And I think every time I've been to Favo, I've walked back and said, "Can I look at the rocks? Can I look at the stones?"
And a certain part of it is that I love adult treasure hunting. That's what I call it.
Oh,
But
nice.
but adult treasure hunting to me is for the gems and such, but it's also for the artist.
Looking for the diamond in the rough. I saw Aladdin this week. I can't help it. But
Actually, I'm looking for the emerald in the rough. But yeah,
Ooh, I do like
because the diamonds in the rough. Do you realize that in order to commercially mine diamonds, they have to find 1 carat of diamond in 10,000 tons of rock.
Oh wow,
That's a lot.
it's very rare.
Rarer than you might think, but for emeralds it's even higher. But yeah, so I'm looking for the emerald in the rough. I'm looking for the amethyst that's just now seeing the light of day. I'm looking for the precious opal that no one's seen before. And I'm looking for that in people, not just how good your artwork is, but how good the people are, how good the character is. There's
Makes
a lot.
sense.
I apologize. There's a lot of artists and people that I've helped over the years. I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember how many at this point. A lot of the time, half the time I get lost with names. When people say a name, I'll say, "Okay, last name," you know. And sometimes I have to have a visual aid. Sometimes I'll hear the name, it's like, I don't recognize this name at all. And then I get the first and last name. I go look them up on Facebook. I see a picture. Oh, this person. Okay, now I know.
Oh, you know, we have strong sense of visual memory, so sometimes you do have to see somebody and
Well, I'm an autism case. I think in pictures.
But you do have a great memory. I mean, you remember things. It's like, oh yeah, that's.
Well, the other thing is that I notice things that a lot of people miss. It doesn't seem like I do, but you'd be surprised what I actually do notice.
So, Brad, I had a question, just for our listeners out there, maybe an artist or non-artist. So, what's one of the most rewarding aspects of being an art promoter thus far?
Well, I don't really call it art promoter, but okay, I call it a visual arts professional. But what is the most? Let me think. Well, there's no one, but I'll tell you one of them. One of them is being able to hand a check to an artist of their artwork that's sold. And the look on their face, because most of the time, even when they logically know that they have made a sale of the sort, they don't really believe it. And that also goes back to my thing about the language that we use. We really should not call anyone that buys artwork a buyer, or even a customer. Have a better word. I use the word patron. Because when you hear the word patron, you think of the Renaissance and the de Medicis and what have you. They were the patrons of the arts. When you hear the word patron, what do you think of?
no, and that's one of the things I remember you telling me when I sold my piece. You're like, this is your patron. This is someone who purchased your art. So, and when we were talking about patron, and I still use that word.
Right, because you have to, because a patron is special. It's another variation on the difference between exhibition and show.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier. Language is everything, and yeah, and you've taught so many people in the arts community.
There are a lot of artists that have come and they've gone, and there are some that stay with me. You're one of the ones.
Well, I'm honored and just grateful for that.
Just one of the names. For the record, Patricia Byron is my most tenured artist.
Oh, I'm honored. It's been a while, but it feels like it was just yesterday, Brad. I'm really honored to be part of your crew.
So, Brad, what piece of advice would you give to a newer artist that is trying to navigate their art career?
Learn to take criticism, learn to listen, practice, keep practicing. Good artwork comes from practice, repetition, sweat, and, for lack of a better way of putting it, expletives. You know?
And I think that's something not only for a newer artist, I think that's a great reminder to any artist or creative at any aspect of their career, whether it's beginning, mid-career, or established. I think it's a good practice.
The other thing I would say is start learning the business. Start learning what people in the business expect of you. And tailor with your expectations to be realistic. I'll throw one example, okay? There are some artists that I've dealt with in the past that do not want a patron if they have a contrary political leaning. And my attitude is you could use the money. You could really use the moolah, and this person, if you play this right, they're gonna do more. A lot of the time, people that are buying artwork are living vicariously through an artist's drama anyway. So, and I've also said to these people, it's like, well, your artwork may get them to change their position, but not if you are being difficult and refuse to allow them to become a patron.
I mean, art has the ability to be so many things. It can be activism. It can be healing. It can be cathartic, just that practice. Art can be so much, but we have to open it up and let other people, see our work or go with our journey.
Who was the mythologist that died? Campbell.
Joseph Campbell.
He was the one that said art is the new mythology.
Yeah. One of my favorite books from him, I think, is called A Man with 1,000 Faces, and it's the hero's journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he breaks up and starts everything with like the different archetypes, and then it goes into the hero's journey and the phases of like a hero, the ebb and flow, which is a kind of way for life. We all ebb and flow.
And I suppose the other advice I would say is, if you're an educational artist, embrace that. If you want to be a commercial artist, embrace that and understand that. Here's the thing. The different types of artwork find patrons in different ways. Educational artists do it in one way, commercial in another way. And you also just have to accept that sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less, depending on what you pick.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's some great advice. So, Brad, is there anything else that we maybe have glossed over? You've been in this business for so long that we haven't been able to focus on that you would like to share?
I would like to see artists get paid for what they do. I do not like this idea of businesses taking advantage of artists. You may not know this, but a interior decorator gets paid $75 to $150 an hour to come in and say, this color here, this here, that there. So many artists are so desperate for attention, and a person can have a business and say, oh, I support the arts and I love the arts, come put it in here. But then they take no liability, won't run a sale, won't even, if it's a restaurant, they won't even give a meal to the artist once a month. And I think it's a dang shame. I would like to see artists, these things are not going to change until artists basically, for lack of a better way to put it, put their foot down and say, I don't work for free.
Yeah, Brad, you've been such a champion for the artists here in Orlando for making that happen. Like when you do a curational job, whether it's a restaurant or a bar, you make sure that, that they get a stipend or I just love that about you.
I call it an honorarium. I took the word from education, but I always make sure the artists get paid something because art is work, like it or not.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going into the lightning round. And the first question for Brad is, if you could magically become fluent in any language, what would it be?
Russian.
Next question. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say?
Shut up and keep moving.
What do you think is the greatest invention in your lifetime and why?
Video games. I love video games. In fact, some of my sponsors are people I've met playing online video games.
Nice.
That was a perfect question for you. One more. You have your own late night talk show. Who would you invite to be your first guest?
Carl Sagan, if he was still alive.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answers.
And then Degrassi next, considering that Carl Sagan is not.
Love it.
Love.
Wow, talk about lightning. You were great on these. Thank you.
Better than I expected.
No, we knew you would be.
All right. So when you check social media, you'll see all of the upcoming events that Brad talked about. We'll get the flyers up there for all of you. So please stop by the event. Stop by and say hi to Brad or Patricia.
And my website is artforallspaces.com.
All right.
Well, this has been a delight, a pleasure, and an honor to have you, Brad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Don't forget to follow Brad on Instagram at Art for All Spaces LLC, or
Brad Michael Biggs on Facebook.
please like and follow.
There also is the website of artforallspaces.com.
All right, and don't forget to stop by to see Brad at the Obsidian Gallery at first Friday and Saturday at 5:00, and our lovely Patricia Byron in her studio.
And don't drink all of their wine.
I have some good hummus and snacks too, so we'll see you here at FAVO, everyone.
Thank you all for listening and being part of our conversation.
Thank you.
We appreciate you listening to the Painted City Podcast. Stay connected with us and join the conversation at the Painted City Podcast on social media. Share your thoughts, ask us questions, and be part of our growing community. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next.
Want a chance to win a deck of Quiet Rebel cards? Follow us on social media and like the giveaway post. Share this to your story feed for an added bonus.
The Painted City is recorded live from FAVO Studios.
Our producers, Patricia Byron and Paula Lupton.
Our director and engineer is Sir Charles.